From unsolved mysteries to unexplained phenomena, from comedy gold to relationship fails, Amazon Music's got the most ad-free top podcasts, included with Prime. Because the only thing that should interrupt your listening is, well, nothing. Download the Amazon Music app today.
Centuries ago, Keeper Freya entrusted a single branch of Fuzan, the world's first tree, to the care of the Celestials. That living shard became a staff, its grain faintly pulsing with the memory of creation itself. Yu'lon the Jade Serpent swore an eternal vow to shelter the Wanderer's companion from any who would misuse its power. Through the rise and fall of empires, even in the shadow of the Mogu's iron rule, she upheld her promise with unyielding vigilance. In Yu'lon's heart, she wondered which mortal race would deserve such a gift, the Jinnu with their patient wisdom, or the serene Pandaren, whose quiet strength spoke of balance and harmony. The Hosen, by contrast, seemed ruled by impulse, brash, feral, too quick to clash among themselves to ever wield the staff responsibly. Yet as the ages passed, the serpent reflected on the many faces of courage. Not all bravery came cloaked in calm deliberation. The Hosen, though fierce and fleeting in their revelry, lived life in bold strokes, vibrant, untamed, and genuine. The ancient sap of Fuzan stirred once more. The staff called for a companion whose spirit matched its own restless energy. There was only one candidate Yu'lon could envision, a Hosen who bore the name Monkey King. Disguised as a wandering Hosen, Yu'lon journeyed into the Monkey King's bustling village, weaving amid startled stares and curious grins. The king, famed for his wit and quick temper, took her disguise at face value, until she challenged him with riddles. No flattery, no reverence. Only the stipulation that a true king would unravel her puzzles. And unravel them he did, one after another, upending her expectations. 3 days and nights passed in heated debate. Every solved riddle stoked his pride, every question shed another layer of his character. Though his temper flared, he never once struck, never once broke the unspoken code of their contest. In his cleverness and restraint, Yu'lon saw the mark of a leader beyond mere trickery. At dawn's first light on the 4th day, the Jade Serpent revealed her true form. Chaos erupted as Hosen scrambled, half wondering if they'd dreamed the serpentine vision. Yet the Monkey King stood his ground. When Yu'lon offered him Fuzan, she spoke of Keeper Freya's original gift and the trials the staff had witnessed. Then she issued her gravest warning. There would come a day when riddles and cunning would not suffice, when only decisive action could stem an encroaching darkness. The Monkey King's eyes, alight with confidence, betrayed no hint of doubt. He accepted the Wanderer's companion with a sly grin, unaware perhaps of the true measure of responsibility that lay ahead. Beneath the thunderous march of Lei Shen's armies, Pandaria's skies blackened and shook. One by one, the august celestials fell to the might of the Thunder King and his mighty Mogu. Except for Yu'lon, who slithered unseen through the Jade Forest. There, among the broken spirits of captive Pandaren miners, she whispered counsel in hushed breezes, reminding them of ancient truths. Hope can blossom in stone, and courage grows in the darkest tunnels. It was on a sweltering afternoon as Yu'lon visited a hidden slave camp carved from living rock, that Lei Shen himself unleashed a bolt of pure lightning. The sky split with a blinding crack. The bolt struck Yu'lon's shimmering form, pinning her to the earth like a fallen star. Pandaren hands, fierce in their compassion, secreted her away beneath the surface, into a clandestine cavern carved in tribute to the Celestials' glory. There, amid torchlight and whispered hymns, Yu'lon bore witness to their silent suffering. Moved by their resilience, she poured the last of her magic into the cavern's walls, infusing every vein of ore with wisdom, fortitude, and a rekindled spark of hope. Yet her heart, wounded by the Thunder King's wrath, faltered. With her strength ebbing like a dying tide, she asked the Pandaren to sculpt her likeness, an effigy that might serve as her vessel when her spirit grew faint. So the miners toiled, pickaxes echoing against stone, generation after generation for a century's span, and as a final chisel fell into place, Yu'lon's life flickered out, only to surge anew in living jade. The statue's eyes opened, and the Jade Serpent breathed once more, reborn in stone and spirit. Even now, whenever her energies wane, she must awaken through a freshly carved effigy. Should the Pandaren ever falter in their devotion, her spirit would slip into the void. Yet Yu'lon's unwavering faith in their steadfast hearts leaves no doubt that as long as courage endures, she will never be lost. High atop Mount Everest, Shaohao's lungs burned with each gust of icy wind as he pressed through the swirling mists. Out of the green haze, the Jade Serpent emerged, her scales gleaming like living jade in the dawn's pale light. Driven by the weight of impending disaster, Shaohao desperately asked the ancient spirit on guidance to protect his people from the Sundering. In that moment, the serpent told him to seek out the heart of Pandaria, promising that he would uncover the wisdom needed to shield his land from ruin. Stealing his resolve, Shaohao turned away from the summit's edge, ready to brave whatever trials awaited him on the road ahead. In the hushed chambers of the Jade Temple, a young Pandaren girl named Faye emerges as both guide and enigma. She isn't truly Faye at all, but an illusion woven by Yulan's will, an intricate test for any adventurer seeking wisdom amidst the temple's green-tinged halls. Only after mastering the trials of the Jade Forest does Faye lead the traveler onward, through a mist-laden pass to the serene expanse of the Valley of the Four Winds, where each rustling leaf whispers of Yulan's ancient power. Centuries pass like ripples across a still pond, and each century brings the same sacred labor. Miners and sculptors gather within the temple's courtyard to erect a massive statue of Jade, so vast and lifelike that for a heartbeat one might swear the serpent itself stood among them. As artisans lay the final piece, Yulan pours her life essence into the sculpture, and stone blooms into spirit. Thus, through countless generations, the Celestial renews her form in gleaming jade, her one enduring promise to watch over Pandaria. When the world teetered on the brink of ruin, Yulan joined her fellow Celestials in a moment of unparalleled unity. Together they pried open the gates of the Vale of Eternal Blossoms, ushering in a sanctuary of peace where Pandaria's hopes could take root. And when the Mogu's shadow fell upon the Vale again, Yulan lent her power to the Golden Lotus warriors, imbuing their blades with her emerald light, so that even in the wake of Ji the Harmonious's passing, the faithful might stand firm against tyranny. Yulan's influence threads every corner of the land, an unbroken strand of jade binding Pandaria's past to its destiny. After days of treacherous mountain passes, hidden grottos, and moonlit crossings, you and Rathian finally stand before the towering steps of the Jade Temple. The air hums with ancient power, and the polished jade walls gleam like emerald flame in the filtered sunlight. Your heart pounds as you adjust the legendary cloak across your shoulders. At the summit, the great bronze doors open, revealing a vast hall awash in pale light. There, waiting upon the top of the stairs within the temple, Yulan coils with serene grace. Rathian stepped forward to begin talking with the Jade Serpent, every footfall echoing in the cavernous hall. As he approached the bottom of the stairs, Rathian lowered his head in reverence. A gentle hiss answered him as the colossal dragon's eyes opened, glowing with ancient calm. Rathian raised his chin. "Great Jade Serpent, hear our plea. My champion and I seek the blessing of your wisdom." The serpent's voice rippled through the chamber like water over stones. "Ah, the dragon child and the hero. Together you will achieve great things." Her form shifted, coils folding into an even more regal posture. "Tell me, dragon child, what is the nature of wisdom?" Rathian rose and met her gaze without flinching. To do what is right no matter the cost, that is wisdom. A soft rumble of amusement vibrated through the hall. Spoken like a true child of the aspects, always seeking to change the world. The Jade Serpent drifted closer, the air growing cool with her presence. But true wisdom comes from knowing what is right, and sometimes doing nothing at all. Rathian frowned, uncertainty flickering across his features. When is it ever wise not to act for the greater good? Her scales caught the light as she inclined her head. To learn that is to learn true wisdom. With a flourish of emerald light, she beckoned. "Come forward, I will give you my blessing." Rathian exchanged a glance with his companion and stepped into the glowing circle before the Jade Serpent. "My challenge, if you accept it, will test your cunning and footwork, even in the midst of life-threatening danger," she warned, her voice a silky promise of trials yet to come. "After beating the trial, she grants you her blessing, and you continue on your journey." Beneath the pale glow of the Vale's newly planted sapling, the Celestials gathered in solemn vigil. The ethereal ghost of Emperor Shaohao, Lorewalker Cho with his scrolls, and a stalwart adventurer joined them. As the first roots sank into sacred soil, Yulan spiraled overhead, her emerald coils weaving a living current of restorative energy. Each slow arc of her flight wove vitality back into the land, coaxing blossoms from barren stone and stirring the long-dormant spirits of Pandaria to awaken once more. Time drifted like drifting petals on a breeze until the Monkey King, staff in hand, felt the last echoes of his journey with Fuzan. With a respectful bow beneath Yulan's graceful gaze, he returned the jade-carved staff into her care. In that silent exchange, he entrusted her with the staff's next passage, readying it to find another worthy soul when the world again called for its power. Faye guided Fenella Darkfire, Karik Irongrin, and Fendrig Redbeard deeper into the mist-shrouded cave. Each step echoed with the clang of pickaxes and the groan of shifting stone. Their faces grew tight with frustration and suspicion. Yet the mysterious guide pressed on, her silent confidence somehow compelling them to follow. It wasn't until the dwarves returned to the surface that the true tale unfolded. They learned how Yulan had once slipped through these very shafts to bring hope to the Pandaren slaves, inspiring miners to seek wisdom beyond the Mogu's dominion. Hidden chambers here had served as secret sanctuaries, where the Celestials' faithful worshipped in hushed reverence. In the wake of Emperor Shaohao's teachings and the cataclysmic sundering, the miners' descendants had emerged to erect grand temples across Pandaria and found the Order of the August Celestials, carrying forward the ancient lessons of balance and unity. In the wake of Emperor Shaohao's teachings and the cataclysmic sundering, the miners' descendants had emerged to erect grand temples across Pandaria and found the Order of the August Celestials, carrying forward the ancient lessons of balance and unity. A wave of awe washed over Fenella, Karik, and Fendrig when they pieced together the truth. The mine Faye had shown them was the very cavern where Yulan's mortal form had perished, giving birth to the timeless cycle of her rebirth. They stood in silent tribute, their earlier grumbles forgotten in the face of such profound history. As the three masons prepared to depart, Faye's soft laughter drifted like wind through bamboo. In an instant, her visage shimmered away, revealing the Jade Serpent herself. With a final graceful coil, Yulan stretched her body of emerald mist and soared upward, becoming a living vein of jade against the diamonds of the sky, leaving the dwarves forever changed by the secret they now carried in their hearts. Flames and shadow tore through the serene halls of the Temple of the Jade Serpent when the Burning Legion descended in a torrent of fire and claw. Yulan, caught in the initial onslaught, fell wounded amid shattered jade pillars. From the chaos emerged three champions, the clever Monkey King, Priestess Summerpetal, and the Grandmaster of the Broken Temple, whose iron will turned the tide against the demonic invaders. Together they drove the Legion back, binding Yulan's wounds with sacred herbs and whispered prayers until her strength flickered back to life. With Yulan recovered, the group pressed onward into the inner sanctum of the Jade Temple, which is where they find the Legion's true architects behind this attack. The ruthless Lord Korithus, flanked by his monstrous lieutenant Yggdrathor. Steel sang against hellfire as the mortals clashed with Korithus, each strike a promise to protect Pandaria's sanctity. Yulan herself confronted Yggdrathor, her sinuous form weaving emerald light that scorched demon flesh and shattered blackened armor. With a final thunderous roar, Korithus fell, his dark essence unraveling into nothingness. In the hush that followed, Yulan's voice, soft yet resonant, echoed through the jade veined chamber. She honored the Grandmaster's courage by gifting them Fuzan, the Wanderer's companion, its living wood still humming with the breath of the world's first tree. With a graceful coil of emerald mist, the serpent bore them away across the seas, depositing her champion before the shining spires of the Temple of Five Dawns on the Wandering Isle, where new trials and new legends awaited. A bruised dawn broke over the Vale of Eternal Blossoms as shadows swarmed its golden groves, the twisted legions of N'Zoth pouring through shattered gates. Far above the chaos, Yulan glided in silent vigil, her form weaving between storm clouds. Wherever tendrils of void corruption crept among the blossoming boughs, she dove with fierce grace, summoning surges of emerald light to push back the darkness. In that soaring watch, the Jade Serpent became both guardian and beacon, an unyielding promise in a world teetering on the brink. And that's going to do it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourself. See you in the next one.